We're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. I'd like to declare a quorum of 7 trustees present. Would like to welcome you to the meeting of the College Station Independent School Board of Trustees. We were elected at large to represent the interest of our community and our state in the educating our students. Our mission for our students in this district is success each life, each day, each hour. We adhere to all pertinent laws, policies, and procedures in posting agendas and conducting our meetings. The detailed agenda information was made available to us at least 72 hours in advance, and we've all come to this meeting informed and prepared. We have just completed a workshop meeting where we heard reports and discussed much of the information needed to make decisions in either this meeting or in upcoming meetings. This is a meeting of the 7 trustees in a public setting rather than a public meeting. As such, public comment is included on the agenda at a specific time and requires us to listen rather than take action so as to abide by the Open Meetings Act. We are pleased that you've taken time this evening to join us. We are very proud of this school district, and we thank you for your interest in and support of our students. It's going to take us to C1, elections. Mr. Martindale.
You have never passed the agenda to me with such enthusiasm before, Mr. Nugent. Our first order of business, agenda item C1, we have the swearing in of our 2 newly elected school board members. We'll begin with place 1, and Dr. Darren Payne. I'm looking out here, I see Marissa. I don't know where you were. Dr. Darren Payne, and swearing Dr. Payne in. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Is his wife, Marissa. So if you come forward, you have complete control of him during this moment. He has to repeat everything you say and agree to it and everything else. So here's your moment. Step right here in front of the microphone, guys.
Yeah.
Raise your right hand. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I state your name,
I, Darren Payne,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the College Station Board Trustee, Place 1
of the College Station Board Trustee, Place 1
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will do to the best of my ability,
and to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God. Thanks.
Oh, there, I'm looking for the picture guy.
It's my friend. And then one more. You two come on. They made me, so.
Darren, why don't you introduce everyone real quick?
My wife, Marissa, is an English teacher at Welburn Middle School. My daughter also goes to Welburn Middle School. She is an 8th grader, cheerleader, gymnast, working on being a media influencer. I think we were talking about it earlier. Youngest daughter, Karis, goes to Pecan Trail, gymnast, softball player, and these are my parents, Kay and Lauren Payne.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dr. Payne, and welcome aboard. Place 2, we have Mr. Blaine Decker, and swearing in Mr. Decker is Miss Chrissy Hester. Bless you, Mr. Decker. Here we go.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. In the name of the board and the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name of the board and the authority of the state of Texas,
I, Blaine Decker,
I, Blaine Decker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of College Station Board of Trustees, Place 2,
of College Station Board of Trustees, Place 2
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Family members, introduce them, pictures. Bring your family.
This is my wife, Hannah, who is an IT consultant with Gartner Consulting, and my daughter, Margaret, who is a Mustang at Greens Prairie Elementary. Thank you. Yep. And my mother and father, David and Kathy Decker. Oh, and my sister is here, Sarah. She came up from Shiner. Can I go with Miss Hester? Miss Hester was my principal in high school. Okay. She wrote my recommendation letter for West Point. It's the only reason I got in. Oh, sorry.
She wanted you gone.
Thank you.
And one final round of applause for those gentlemen joining us. Mr. Nugent, that moves us to item D1, our pledge and moment of silence. So I'd ask the board join us up front. Gentlemen, if you join in as well. I'd ask Principal at College Hills Elementary, Mr. Hatfield, and Blair Grande, Rocco's wife. No, I'm kidding. Come forward. I couldn't remember. I'm like, what's your name? I know you. Talk to you today. So come forward, introduce our students from Pebble Creek and College Hills that will assist us in our pledges and our moment of silence this evening.
Okay, let me get through. I am Blair Grande, the very proud principal of Pebble Creek Elementary, and I have some special Panthers here, and they are going to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Gianna. I am in 4th grade. My favorite subject in school is ELA. For free time, I like to explore the outdoors and play basketball and soccer with my friends. And my favorite thing about school is all the nice teachers and students in it. My name is Weston, and I'm in 4th grade. And my favorite subject in school is math. And for my free time, I like to hunt, fish, and play soccer. And the thing that I like most about our school is that we have really nice teachers and a nice principal.
I can do it. Alrighty, so I'm Josh Hatfield, principal of College Hills Elementary School, and I have some kiddos who are being a little bit shy here this evening. So they both just asked me, will you please introduce us? So first I have Kendrea Kilson with us, and she is one of our wonderful Tiger Cubs in 4th grade. She does an amazing job at College Hills, and she is a friend to everyone and just seeks people out and always wants to have a conversation and a smile with people. So let's give her a big applause. And then I also have Vaishnav Rangan with us, and he is one of our members of our Team Roar. And so Team Roar goes about and they get with all the new students and they tell them hello and show them around the school and eat lunch with them a few times. And then he's also in dual language, and he said his favorite subject when we were talking earlier today was social studies because he likes learning about all different types of cultures and people. And when I asked him if he wanted to tell the crowd something special, he said, yes, Mr. Hatfield. He said, I do ballet and I will be in the Nutcracker at Rudder, so please come see him. Okay.
Please stand for the American pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one, indivisible.
And now for the moment of silence. Thank you.
And then we're going to take some pictures.
Yep, we're good right there, guys. Next, agenda item D2, student recognitions. Turn things over to Mr. Glenwinkle to do our student recognitions. Students, as Mr. Glenwinkle calls your name, if you will come forward, meet me right over there. I'll provide you with your certificate and make your way around to board members and shake their hands so they can congratulate you. So, Mr. Glenwinkle.
Thank you, Mr. Martindale. Mr. Nugent, members of the board, it is my distinct pleasure to be able to honor 35 very academically great students this evening. The College Board recently announced that a total of 35 CSISD seniors have been designated as College Board National Recognition Program Scholars. This was based on academic achievements and outstanding performance on the PSAT and/or AP exams. The College Board National Recognition Programs create pathways to colleges for underrepresented students by awarding them academic honors and connecting them with universities across the country as National Hispanic, African American, or Indigenous scholars. The College Board, which administers the PSAT and SAT, recognizes academic excellence through its national recognition programs. Students selected for this prestigious honor can cite it on their college and scholarship applications. In turn, colleges use the listing of this honor as a way of identifying students from underrepresented groups who have excelled on their PSAT or AP exams and in their classwork. As Mr. Martindale said, as I call your name, please come forward and accept your certificate. Irene Benavides Perez. Christian Bonacera. Ulysses Braga. Diego Cardenas. Vincent Carrion. Samuel Chu. Daniela Coronado. Clayton Dodgen. Favor Ezwenuna. Garrett Garza. Esteban Gonzalez. Ariana Granda Moncayo. Connor Guerreri. Gabriel Guillen. Luis Hurtado. Amin Ibn El Farouk. Madison Kimes. Bianca Lasagna Coloma. Gates Leftwich. Valeria Mockery. Celeste Malone. Seth Marshall. Gavin Martinez. Seth Martinez. Isabel Madrano. Eden Merritt. Looks like the alphabet M had something else to do this evening. Adrian Marino. There we go. Julie Morgan. Leslie Munoz. Layla Navarro. Samarita Papo. Gabriela Ramirez. Rebecca Remigio. Emma Scarborough. Cameron Zavala. We'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that this is most likely a team effort. So if you're a family member of one of these students who are recognized tonight, please stand and be recognized. Mr. Martineau, this concludes our recognitions for the evening.
concludes our student recognitions. I would ask that Ms. Green and Mr. Nugent, if you can just have a seat on the front row. The other board members, if you have to take a seat, yeah, pick a spot.
You can sit next to me.
There. Ms. Nolan, I'm going to move us to item D3, trustee recognition.
Perfect.
Your permission? Okay.
Yes, please and thank you.
I did not hear you, Mr. Horak, and that's probably good. So we have two. Hang on, I'm going to give it just a second. Is that what you said? We have two trustee recognitions. Of course, you saw earlier this evening, we swore in two new trustees. So this evening, we don't say goodbye. We say thank you and see you around, right? Here. So I have two folks that I would like to recognize. I'll read the plaques here in just a moment. But just as superintendent and from a personal standpoint, I just want to thank you both for everything you've done for our community, for our school district, for me, for the children of this community. There's always, times we have some tremendous lifting and difficult decisions and challenges, or I guess I don't really consider them challenges, but opportunities. And you guys always came to what's best for kids. And that can be very difficult at times when you're wrestling with opinions and public feedback and pandemics and everything else. So just know how grateful I am for both of you, for your commitment to our school district. We're better today for the work that you two have done and for your time that you have served on the board. And we'll be forever grateful for both of you in your time. I'm going to start with Ms. Green, ladies first. For her years of dedicated service to the education of our children, College Station ISD Board of Trustees, 3 years of service. Ms. Amanda Green. Amanda? Let's get us a picture here. Let's set this over here. You should have this picture thing down by now.
I know. I need to take that social media influencer course.
Right,
I don't know.
exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna get my stuff.
Mr. Mike Nugent, for his years of dedicated service to the education of our children, College Station ISD Board of Trustees, 6 years of service. Mr. Nugent. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll put them in.
In the middle.
We do have it down.
Yeah.
Nolan, I believe you guys have some.
We do. I'm going to kick it off. Turn this on. I'm going to kick it off with the thank yous and see you laters. You two, thank you. This job doesn't pay much. So whenever you make this decision to serve in this capacity, you are doing it because you have a huge heart. You have a heart for kids. You have a heart for education, this community, and for the future. And you guys, people expect it to take time, but I don't think they expect it to take so much soul and be so emotionally involved as well. But it is, and you two both served gracefully, and I thank you for that. It also is a huge commitment from our families, right? So Keely, where's Keely? I saw him earlier. Thank you. And also Dara, thank you. And girls, Thanks for sharing your spouses with us, you guys, for these last 3 years and 6 years. Thank you. And I'm serious, Amanda and Mike. We might be seeing if we can like call a friend sometimes, you know, when we need some advice. Thank you both so very much.
You guys know how I feel about this November meeting. It's not much fun sometimes. Welcome, guys. Anyway, much like what Geraldine said, selfless service, y'all. That's what this is. We get paid too much money to do this, and the emails are gratifying sometimes. But thank you for stepping up and representing not only our community, but our teachers and more importantly our students, because that's what it's all about. And y'all got firsthand knowledge of what we're doing at College View here on your last day, and that's awesome to see what has transpired. Amanda, thank you for being a friend. I appreciate it. Mike, thanks for taking me under your wing. I learned a lot from both of y'all, and I look forward to the future, and I know y'all won't be strangers. So thank y'all.
As we're going around again, many thank yous to both of you for your time and your dedication to our district, and for what you brought to this boardroom and to the district. I mean, we all try to bring our own little pieces of it. I mean, Amanda, your background, has been very valuable to this board, and everything that you have, the questions you've asked and the suggestions, they've been so meaningful. So thank you for your time, and and green is my favorite color, so it's in your honor tonight. And of course, Michael, you have brought so many things to our district over the last 6 years, and you have had to be here for many of those tough moments throughout your tenure. Thank you particularly really for your heart that you bring, and we know it's all about what's right for the district. So thank you again, both of you.
Ditto.
Yeah.
No, really it is ditto though, because in some ways it's this is my second year on the board, and it's like I was just getting to know y'all. It's been a interesting 2 years, and I am grateful that the two of you were on the board during these last 2 years with all the changes and the I don't want to use the words challenges, but the opportunities, the unprecedented times. There we go. that we've been through. Amanda, when I think of you on the board, I just think of, again, your background and the questions that you ask are really thought-provoking, and I hope we can all kind of continue to do that. Mike, I don't know who's going to be the next board president, but I hope they have the demeanor and the thoughtfulness that you have exhibited as your time on the board, and particularly as president. You've always been a calming force. And so we're definitely gonna miss y'all. But thank you again for your service, and I'm sure we'll see you around. So thank y'all.
Well, last year this time I was saying thanks to someone I'd never met in my life before. So it's a whole lot easier this time. So they've already said you have a heart, and you have to have a heart but you have to have a slight little bit of craziness to have it stuck it out this long. And we appreciate that, and we understand that. Now, as I said, Mike, you're like kind of the heart of the board, easy-go-lucky. We could call you with problems, and you would calm us down. And Amanda, we are going to miss that background. We have Josh, the lawyer, but you were the HR conscience of the board. So we're going to lose some subject matter experts. We're going to hate it. Yeah, okay. Note for free of charge, right? Pro bono. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, guys, thank you so much for your service. It is truly appreciated, and we look forward to you taking a break and coming back in some capacity. like a committee. The same as the board members. Yeah, lots of money.
We have a little something for you.
Yeah, I did.
So, on behalf of the trustees here, we wanted to make sure y'all got sent with a little memento of thanks and something to remember us by. So we had boards made for each of y'all.
I didn't even think of that. That's good.
So it does have our ISD logo at the bottom. So every time you use it, you'll remember where it all started. And then we just genuinely appreciate everything, as we've all said tonight. So.
No heckling. I don't know really where to stand. Okay. All right. So how much time do I have? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, dang. Wow.
Carrie, you got that? Carrie, 3 minutes?
That was a good one. That was a good one. This is not public comment. Well, it kind of is. Okay. Well, I just want to, I don't even know where to begin. I wrote down all of these things and I had this whole idea of this like great big speech, but really what it comes down to is, well, let me back up. So in 2005, 16 years ago, was my first entree into CSISD with my youngest, my 5-year-old. And the first person that I met was Teresa Cott. And when, as a new mom, eager beaver, my 5-year-old that I'm sending off, although she was jumping out of the car and see you later before I could even come to a stop, I knew that what amazing, great hands. Teresa was my first impression of the school district, and it wasn't isolated. Everyone in this district that has touched my own children, many other children, are truly amazing. And when I was thinking all day today about what word always comes to mind when I think about CSISD and over these last 16 years. And the word is care. It just kept coming back. And I'm like, gosh, care is just such a simple word. It's like, it's not really prophetic. Like, I gotta come up with something better than care. But that's what it is. This district, everyone who serves in it, who volunteers, who works here, who touches this, who consults with our district, it really is about the care that they show. This district is responsible for not only shaping my own children and who they are today, but so many other children. And it has just been my absolute privilege to serve in any capacity from a volunteer standpoint, but really the pinnacle is serving as a board trustee and having those in the community and trust their children and their futures, in my care to help guide. One of the biggest, probably proud achieving moments that I can say that any school board has the privilege of doing is hiring a superintendent. And I will forever be grateful that I was able to be a part of that. And truly, Mike is, I know you hate this, but When I tell you I've hired lots of people, and I didn't just hire him, right? But I've hired lots of executives, lots of people in my career. And this is one of truly the most proud hires I've ever been a part of to be able to create. The vision, it takes such a visionary to lead a district, but to implement and to execute is just truly remarkable. And I can leave here knowing in what great hands this entire district is in and this school board. I do want to thank some of the unsung heroes in our district really quick. And I know board reports, when we have like our big, reports that come out, I know we can be like, but they truly are amazing to really understand what makes this district tick. And I do feel like there are some unsung heroes that I would love to recognize and thank. Our bus drivers, our custodians, our facilities and infrastructure. Wow, you would not believe what these people do every single day to make this district work. Our Head Start program, all the way from the littles, reaching out to those who are even too little to even come into school. We're engaging and learning and getting them excited and ready for our programs. Our special needs teachers and assistants, there's a special place in heaven for these people. And there are some of the best I've ever seen in this district. Our cafeteria staff, Bridget Goodlet, who can really can turn over a stone to get us money for our district to feed our children, and the pride that she takes in doing that it's literally every time she spoke to us, I was so inspired. Our front desk staff, truly the unsung heroes that really are the face and really do so much more than anyone ever realizes. Our education foundation, who rallies our community together to raise so much money to do so many things for so many programs. Our human resources, shout out to the human resources. I get you. And I feel for you. And I pray for you a lot. Our athletics and student activities, just phenomenal programs that we have, and that we, sometimes athletics and student activities, they're kind of seen as one thing, but it's the heart and soul. It can bring us all together. Our communications. Gotcha. Curriculum and instruction. Where would we be? Our family services, those that reach out. I remember one of the first times I never even knew. I saw our counselor and our school nurse in Forest Ridge stuffing backpacks with food to take home so that those kiddos that didn't have food on the weekends had something to eat. Our fine arts are just truly amazing, and the pride that they take in everything that they do. Our counselors, our school nurses. So many people make this district work, and it really comes down to that word, care. Thank you so much for letting me ramble on and on, because this sure did make me feel good to say this to all of you. But I love this district. I love all of you. Please continue to take good care.
Can I use this? So I just want to be able to see y'all. I don't trust you behind my back. There's at least 5 of you. I wanted to start off by thanking the board. What an incredible privilege it has been to serve alongside of y'all. It has been a humbling experience, but it has been one filled with joy too. And I just want to thank you all for serving alongside of me. I wanted to thank also the administrative team. What an incredible group of leaders that I've had the opportunity to serve with for 6 years now, beginning with Dr. Ely 6 years ago, but now continuing with Mr. Martindale. And might spend a little bit more time on you later, but the talent, I'd be worried. No. But the talent and leadership that you all provide the community, and specifically the kids and the 2,000 staff members, thank you. your expertise and your skill is noticeable, and it has been incredible to have a front row seat to your work. And thank you for what you all do for the kids of College Station. And where's Chrissy? You swore someone in tonight. When I think I've seen you do everything, you do something else. And you do swear. But you are the counselor for the district, and I still live in the district. So expect calls. Expect calls. But Chuck, I've got to single you out too, just because you have been the ever-present reminder of board policy in my life. And when I see people going crazy on social media, you control my emotions and remind me that I am not allowed to respond to anonymous communication. But I can now. There's a few people I'm looking for on TextAgs when I go home. But really, thank you. Thank you all. Y'all have taught me more about public education than I thought was possible. And the unending list and stream of acronyms that I have finally now figured all of them out, right, Ms. Green? And now we're leaving. We've got it figured out, now we leave. But so much of it has crept into my daily lexicon, and I will miss that. Phrases like unfunded mandates. I'm going to miss those. But I also want to thank my family who's here. And of course, my mother surprises me tonight, good grief, who has, I don't know this, she might have to fight this out with Chrissy later. I'm ready to say you've been at more board meetings than anyone in this room. It might be Chrissy, I'm not sure. But y'all can fight about it later. But Mom, you've been such a model, come on, of selflessness. Dadgummit, are you kidding me? Chuck, is this being recorded for real? All right, thank you. We'll keep it under control then. Thank you for the model of selflessness, Mom, and you are one of the big reasons why I felt called to do this. So thank you. And to my girls, and your idiot brother, wherever he is. No, he missed most of this. He missed most of this, but the sacrifice y'all made for this did not go unnoticed. And I know it was hard at times, and thank you for your support and your patience. And Dara Marie, thank you also for your picture of selflessness and for your patience and support and allowing me to basically prove to the community what you've known, that I'm pretty much the dumbest guy in town. But thank you for the way you give of yourself to our family. And I know it's been a lot more on your plate the last 6 years, but really the last couple. And thank you. Love you big. Real quick to the board, when I did this 6 years ago, it always confused me when people during the election, first of all, it's just weird to go through that, right? But then raise your hand. We're going to participate here. How many people came up to you and said, hey, thank you so much for putting yourself out there? 1, 2, 3. Yes. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know what I didn't know. But I know now. To the new team of 8, thank you for putting yourself out there. We've talked a lot somehow tonight about what we get paid. I've tried to work on that in the last year. I feel like we got double the Jason's Deli that we used to. But I remember when Jeff Harris stood here a couple years ago and he mentioned this district. And he did it in such a way it was, I'm just going to steal it right now because he mentioned that, and I don't think this is much of an argument, that we live in the greatest country that the world's ever known. And in the greatest country, we live in the greatest state. And I know me and my youngest daughter will fight you over that. And we also happen to live in the greatest nation, in the greatest state, in the best place to raise a family. And I'm getting an amen. All right. No, but 10 years ago, we had really no reason to move here except that we wanted to raise our kids here. And there was no job, so we created a couple. And we moved here because we wanted our kids to grow up here and we wanted them to go to these schools and be influenced by the people that's sitting out here. And as a dad, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for how you've loved my family, you've loved my kids. Going forward for y'all, y'all are here because the people of College Station trusted you with the education of their kids. And that's a pretty big burden to carry. And I just want to thank you for your willingness to do that. Thank you for putting yourself out there. The last 2 years has brought, 2 years ago, I remember this night and thinking, whew, the tough stuff's behind us. Yeah. Mr. Martindale, thank you for leading us the last year and a half through the most stressful environment that I could imagine. And I would like to think that the heavy lifting's done, but I obviously don't know that. But as Ms. Green shared, I feel so good walking out the door knowing that you are leading this district. You have had more of an impact on my family than you could possibly know, and I want to thank you for that. Thank you for your leadership, thank you for your friendship, and thank you most of all for your heart for this place that I love so much. Remember that people will come after you hard sometimes. Those emails get fun. The conversations in the grocery store get fun. And I want to remind everyone, as Chuck would from our policy, no, but that we're here to serve the whole district. And it's not just the people that voted for us. It's not the people that we live next door to. It's not our neighborhood, it's the district. And if, looking back in 6 years, if I'd voted every way my next door neighbor wanted me to every time, I don't think I was going to be serving the entire district. And it's tough sometimes, but you have to own that. You have to own it because that's what you've been entrusted with. And I feel really good about this board. And it's nice to know that I can say I trust your hearts to do the right thing. And there's been a lot of important things that we've done, not just with COVID in the last year. And we got to see it this evening with College View and so many other things, the GPA stuff. I'm so excited about where the district is. And I want to share one quick story. This goes years ago at a church I was at, we were at, and there was a woman there who had a pretty advanced form. It was an aggressive cancer. And I didn't know her, but I knew her story. And she shared at one point that she liked to go out to eat. And she'd always look at the place setting. And she loved it when there was a lot of silverware. You know, they might bring something, take something away. You go to a fancy place. and that she always loved it when the meal was done and there was still a fork there, because it told her that there was more coming, and it was dessert. And that she said it told her that the best was yet to come. And she said she kept a fork visible in her house to remind her in this difficult time in her life that no matter what happened with her illness, that there was still something that she was looking forward to with hope, that the best was yet to come. And I remember hearing this, and I went and I got this fork. And this fork has been on my dresser, it's been on my desk, been on a bookcase for the last 20 plus years, as a reminder that even when things are really, really tough, to keep in mind that there is a bigger perspective at play here, and that the best is yet to come. And y'all got me something really cool. I got you something really cheesy, but I got y'all some forks tonight. That's why I wanted to go last. Make Amanda feel bad. No. I want y'all to have these. And you can put it on your desk, on a bookcase, or you can eat cheesecake with it. I don't care.
You didn't engrave it?
No, I did not. I did not. But I just want y'all to know that we as a community are looking to y'all, and we are grateful to have you here. And I believe this with all of my heart, that the best is yet to come. And I just like to say, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May be gracious to you. May he lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Thank you so much. It has been quite a party. Y'all be good.
I feel terrible that I did not thank my husband and daughter, so thank you so much. And my daughter, who may be watching at home, I'm a heel. Thank you. I love you.
Mimi, hurry up. Mom, you've been to board meetings. Come on. Everybody wants to leave. Let's go.
We're still rolling. I don't want to be in the background.
Can I stick one certificate in? With your permission, Ms. Nolan, I'd have one student that we missed earlier that I think was taking an exam at the university. Irene, correct? Benavides Perez. You were taking at the university? Here, all right.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
She was taking a Calculus 3 test at A&M,
Oh
so
my
I figure that
goodness.
merited being late.
Yes, thank you for coming. Okay, so we are on to D4, which is artwork on our back wall. Tonight, we have artists represented from College Hills Elementary and Pebble Creek Elementary. So make sure you take a look. There looks like some really cool cityscapes back there. Thanks. Okay, now on to E, our consent agenda. So on consent agenda, we have H, K1, K2, K3, K4, and K5. Would anyone like any of those removed?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay. F, our board reports and announcements. Do we have any reports? Do we want to start with superintendent report? Or do board reports first? Okay, board reports first. Yeah, I'll do education. I'll start with Education Foundation. Heck yes. Y'all, Education Foundation is pretty special today. Have y'all heard that we did Grant Patrol? Yes, Grant Patrol was today, and I have my flyer so I could make sure I got the right amount. Y'all, Education Foundation awarded $337,965 today, which was almost double or double what they did last year. This is huge, huge. I didn't even count how many education grants that was, but it's always a super fun day. You know, we march through the schools. We have the drum lines and our cheerleaders and our mascots. We make a lot of noise, disrupt a whole bunch, and hand out a bunch of money. And, you know, this is not possible without the support of our community and the amazing work that Education Foundation does. So today was a fantastic day. And then one more plug for them. There is going to be an event, a new event, on the National Day of Giving, which is November 30th. There will be a come and go little party thing to raise some money. This is specifically for the mattresses, because they're raising money right now for mattresses for students in our school district that don't have a mattress, right? And that's going to be on November 30th from 5:30 to 8, and it is going to be at Benjamin Knox Gallery. So I would love to see some of your faces there and, you know, spending some money. So anyways, always a good day.
So the District Education Improvement Council met last Wednesday. Most of it we've already heard tonight, but Mr. Ross presented to the group about possible CTE course additions considerations. I'm sure that'll come before us, or consent agenda. Draft of the District of Innovation Plan, which Dr. Trammell went over, as well as calendar options. And as you heard in workshop, that hopefully we'll have something voted on by January, February. And then finally, monitoring of the district improvement plan. And then the next meeting will be December 8th. It'll be virtual. So maybe I won't miss it this time.
All right, y'all ready? I have three. First one is SHAC, the Health Advisory Council. They met back on October 27th. That was their first meeting of the year. They'll actually meet again tomorrow night. SHAC has even more kind of a more important role this year because the state has introduced new health education TEKs for the first time in over 20-something years. So it's been a long time coming. So it's always been SHAC's role to, one, give recommendations to the board about any kind of health issues, but also specifically about health curriculum and materials. But again, since there's the new TEKs this year, they really are going to, the committee's going to be busy working on what those TEKs turn out and look like in our district, and so they'll be working on that recommendation. So they've actually going to create 3 subcommittees this year to really dig into the work. There will be one specifically focusing on that, the health, PE, and sex education curriculum pieces. And we'll still do the wellness plan, a second committee for that. And then also decided to create a third subgroup committee on mental health focus, because such a continued, issue with our children, not just here, but across the world. So that's SHAC. It's going to, again, be a busy year with a great group of people in there. And the next one is PAC, the Personnel Committee. They met on November 4th. And again, bringing just a number of questions, issues to the administration to answer. I won't really go into any detail, but there were questions about, some compensation for paraprofessionals. There were questions about whether we were going to do a booster shot clinic. And I think for COVID, I think the answer is going to be no, just because the shots are so available now. And I guess there was one that I'll mention just because it's something that maybe the board should be aware of. There was a question about employee children maybe being able to qualify or being able to have access to pre-K. And I think, if they didn't otherwise qualify for the program. And I think there was a good discussion that, maybe something would be a nice additional benefit for our employees if we could, but I think at the present time, the answer was that we kind of don't really have the capacity either in teachers or in maybe facilities to do that, but maybe something that we as a board, think about, at least have on our radar in the future. And then the third committee the ad hoc committee I've been on is the Academic Achievement and GPA Committee, which we did at workshop, got a very nice, bigger update on that. And so if you want to hear the details, you can go back to workshop. But really is a very good, diverse group of folks in there from our district who have so much knowledge, but also students, former students, parents, other community members. I have learned so much in that room from the different perspectives that those people are bringing to this question. And they really were wrestling with it and discussing, we're down in the weeds right now, really, on discussing what, some of these policy decisions might need to be. So, again, as I said earlier, probably glad to hear that we'll be kind of extending those efforts for a while because there is a lot to be decided and we need to do a good job with it. So I'm glad to hear that. And we had 3 meetings scheduled over the last month. We got lucked out. One got canceled because too many people were going to the state band contest. So we got a break on one of them. So that's good. All right, that's it. Thanks.
Mr. Martindale and I were able to attend the intergovernmental committee meeting yesterday, and really kind of we've got a COVID update, of course, and again the numbers for the community continue to drop. I think our rolling average for 14 is 14 per day in the whole Brazos County. So hopefully that'll continue to decrease. We also received an update from the Metropolitan Planning Organization on kind of different transportation needs as well as plans in the community. And without getting into a lot of specifics, the main thing is I did not walk away from that meeting under any pretense that they anticipate our community getting smaller. So they're planning to expand Highway 6 to 6 lanes, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's a lot of with I-14 and so forth. So we can anticipate some continuing growth for our community, for the district in the upcoming years. Although one little interesting thing is for everybody that loves the crazy intersection at University and Highway 6 or University and going towards the airport. TxDOT loves those because we're about to get a bunch more of them. So get ready. The other thing, and just to kind of toot our horn a little bit, the other thing that happened at the meeting was we participated in a community health needs assessment. Not health as in the sense of sickness and so forth, but just what is the health of our community, Bryan College Station, the surrounding communities. And it was going along, we were listing strengths and weaknesses, so forth and so on. And then, and this committee is made up of, mayors, people from A&M, Blinn, the health district, you name it. One of the greatest strengths that everybody mentioned was our school districts. And what that does for our community as far as everybody that lives here, people that are thinking of moving here. And so just know that, it is widely recognized in our community, the wonderful things that we're doing at CSISD.
Any other board reports? Okay, Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Ms. Nolan. So first and foremost, I want to thank our community. As Mr. Glenwinkle mentioned in workshop, and Ms. Strauss, the success passing 3 of our 4 bond propositions, $78 million out of the 83. So just want to pass along our thanks for their continued support. Of course, we're disappointed that we didn't get the 4th proposition, but again, grateful for those that did pass and always appreciative of the support from our community. I won't go into detail. I will encourage folks, though, that were unable to listen to the reports at the workshop to go back and actually view the recording and the information regarding our work on employee health care, as well as policy EIC local, which has to do with grade point, and also the information regarding the upcoming vote for calendars for 22-23 and the associated timeline as to when that will come back to the board. So tremendous amount of information at workshop. I encourage people to educate themselves on if they weren't able to listen in earlier. Again, kudos to Education Foundation. Grant Patrol is one of the most rewarding, enjoyable days of the year for me. I saw some very, very excited teachers today, and I told Ms. Menden, and I say this every time I speak of the Education Foundation, their work is icing on the cake. And they allow us to move the bar just a little bit farther down the road that we would not be able to do without their support and their work. So kudos to Ms. Menden and her crew, and the Education Foundation, their board, and all of their work. Before I get into student recognitions, there's a ton of them, and I know we'll see a number of those kiddos at the December meeting. I do want to make this announcement that Commissioner, I got a call from the Executive Service Center, the Executive Director in Region 6 in Huntsville last week, and he gave me a call and he said, Mike Morath, the Commissioner of Education, is going to be heading toward Huntsville next week, but he wanted to stop in College Station and spend some time visiting our schools to look at the great things that are occurring in our district. So on December 1st, on Wednesday, the morning of, Commissioner Morath will be in district. And we'll visit a campus or two to observe some classrooms. So we're finalizing the details on that, but kudos to our folks and their work, and understand that's being recognized. We're excited to welcome the commissioner to our district on December the 1st. So kudos to our students. I've got several of these, but these are, the most joyful to do. First, our bands. And I know Mr. Eakes was here earlier. I'm sure he slid out. There was probably a concert or a play or something along those lines that he headed to. But just congratulations to both Tiger and Cougar Band. I told Mr. Fry and Mr. Seal this. They both made their first trip to state. Everything from the community parade to the way the kids handle themselves, their performance in the Alamo Dome, that we're very fortunate to be able to attend and watch, just a class act all the way. And just super proud of those kiddos and their work, talking about putting in some practice time. Those kids do it. And of course, that doesn't happen without the directors and our parent volunteers. If you've seen their shows, the amount of people it takes to move this stuff on and off the field, and you have 5 minutes. So I've never seen anything like it. But kudos to those folks. We will have folks from both of our bands join us for student recognitions at the December meeting. So just want to mention that, and congratulations to those folks. We also, for our December student recognitions, have penciled in our national meets judging team, national champions. FFA from College Station High School and sponsor Aaron Stutz will be joining us next month as well for student recognition, but congratulations to them, national champions. So You don't get better than that, right? I mean, that's as good as it gets. And congratulations also, cross country, Consolidated's boys team competed at state several weeks ago at Round Rock. The girls team at College Station High School, and we had 2 individual boys from College Station High School as well. Both of our football teams continue in their playoffs Friday evening, so best of luck to Tiger and Cougar football, and congratulations to both of our volleyball teams as well. Both progressed very far in playoffs, and so our kids are doing amazing things, and that's because of the support of our faculty and staff and our community. So all of this, the success our kids have are due to collective effort of the entirety of the community. So that, Ms. Nolan, closes that superintendent's report. We'll see some of these young people next month with us.
Thank you. So that takes us to G, hearing of citizens. Do we have any other cards? Just that one. Okay, so we do have a card. So this is on a non-agenda item. So we will do this one now. And it is Deanne Herring. And while Ms. Herring makes her way up here, I will read what we need to read. So public comments at a regular meeting. During this time, public comments are welcome on non-agenda items. The board will listen, but the Open Meetings Act prevents us from responding to speakers. Please complete the note card and give it to the executive assistant. The public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Those needing an interpreter may have up to 6 minutes. Each person has 1 opportunity at the microphone, regardless of minutes used. Unused minutes may not be accrued by another speaker. The executive assistant will time the comments and alert the president when time has expired. The board asks that those addressing the board refrain from derogatory comments. And if you could just state your name and your address, we would appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
My name is Deanne Herring, and my address is 3211 Tony Court in College Station. So thank you, Mr. Martindale, because you've given me an excellent segue into my my remarks this morning, or this evening, actually. So good evening, everyone. I'm Deanne Herring. I am the president of the College Station Cougar Band Booster Organization. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak on behalf of our Band and Guard family. And normally I don't have such an aide, but if you had been part of this run up to state and you'd been there at the area finals, we really can't get through a lot of discussion about what we've achieved without some emotion. So I'm hoping that this will help guide me through this without some tears and of joy, I suppose. And I am also one of those 50-ish people who move props on and off the field. So it's my only bit of exercise. It's worth it. If you ever have an opportunity to push something heavy, welcome. We would welcome you. All right. So this year we continued our tradition of continuous improvement and striving for excellence, culminating in our achieving of 21st place finish in our debut at the 5A State Marching Band Competition. And this could not have been achieved without the tremendous support of our school board and our district leaders. And specifically, I'd like to thank Mr. Martindale, as well as the administration of the College Station High School, Ms. Ayala, Mr. Picard, Ms. Gibson, Mr. Ryan, under the leadership of our principal, Mr. Grimes. And we talked a lot today. You heard people talking about the care and how wonderful this district is. But when my family moved into the district about 4 years ago, I immediately felt the support of all the organizations at College Station High School. They all support each other. There's not competition there. Everybody rallies around. And that definitely held true as our Band and Guard members received shout outs and cheerful send-offs from Mr. Huff and the Cougar football team, from Ms. Wellman and Ms. Hodges and the cheer squad, and Ms. Kleineke and the Strutters. And finally, this achievement is not one that happens overnight. It's brought about by years of work and effort to build a lasting program. And it's now that I turn to our fine arts leadership that was mentioned today as some of those unsung heroes potentially. Mr. Eakes and Mrs. Grabner have moved obstacles and helped really pave the path for us. And the many, many band directors and music teachers, such as Mr. Montgomery, Mrs. Seal, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Zorn, at the middle school level within the district to help to build the character and musicianship of our students is outstanding. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to thank Mr. Seal, Mr. Dixon, and Mrs. Nolan for everything that they do and continue to do for our Cougar Band and Guard program. And we try to show our appreciation every day for them. And while they're not here today, I think that it's just worthy. They deserve that call out. So this has been an outstanding year of historical firsts, and thank you so very much for everything that's been done to get us where we are today.
Thank you, Ms. Herring.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to I-1, receive report on leadership development in College Station ISD. Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Ms. Nolan, Geraldine, thank you, Mrs. Nolan. With our program report this month, we've kind of, we're on a 3-year rotation with program reports. We're incorporating a new one into our rotation this evening on leadership development, and Jeff Mann, Mr. Mann, our Director of Instruction and Leadership, is here to provide presentation to the board. We decided to build this into our rotation as the board is very aware that something I'm a big proponent of is leadership development. I think that's the quickest way you have an impact on an organization. I believe that's some words you're going to say in just a minute, Mr. Mann, but here to share, yeah, if I keep going, he'll be good, right? So I'm going to stop now. Mr. Mann, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martindale, Ms. Nolan, Board of Trustees. It's my pleasure to come to you tonight to talk a little bit about leadership development in College Station ISD. And I'm going to start with a number, 31. You might be wondering why 31. Well, I started this position in 2018, and since 2018, we have hired 31 administrators. There are 15 assistant principals, 6 principals, and 10 directors or assistant directors. I'm going to give you another number. This one is 23. Now keep in mind, this number is a projection. It's not a guarantee, right? But this is the number of people that are eligible to retire by 2023. So if you put those two numbers together and you divide that by 85, which is the number of our success team, in a 6-year period, we could see up to 63% of our entire district and campus leadership have turnover. It's kind of a big deal, right? This is why we put so much emphasis on leadership development. We want to make sure that we're ready for the future. And John Maxwell says it best, the single best way to impact an organization is to focus on developing your leaders. So I'm going to walk you through briefly, because I know it's a board meeting and everybody wants to go home, right? But I will walk you through briefly the work that we do to develop our leaders that are currently in their chairs. Also, the work that we've started doing to develop the next generation of leaders in CSISD. And then I'll link this into our Holdsworth Center partnership that we started this year. So the items you see listed up here really just give us a summary list of the work that we're doing to grow our people in the chairs that they're at. So I mentioned before, we have our success team that consists of 85 members from campus, the district leaders. And we, in the past, have brought them together once a month under the same roof for about 2.5 or 3 hours. And we would have some professional development focused time. And then we would also dive into the administrivia that it takes to run a school district. But this last year, the design team that is made up of campus principals and a couple of our cabinet members really felt strongly that we needed to focus in on developing our principals and developing our assistant principals. And so we came up with this idea of having what we're calling principal collabs, and the collab stands for collaboratives. And so what we are doing each month is we are pulling all 19 of our principals together in one room with some members of cabinet, and we spend 2 to 3 hours with that group. And then on the following week, we have our assistant principals divided in half, because we can't have all the APs off campus at once. That just would not go well. So we have them in 2 different groups, and we bring them together, and they're with members of cabinet, and we work through what it is in their role and their task, and really pushing it in that job-specific lens. And it's been a very, very positive change for this year. We also have our Summer Administrative Leadership Institute, affectionately known as SALLY, right? So you'll hear this mentioned all throughout the transmittal as we get closer to the summer. And the purpose of SALLY is for us to come together with all of our members of Success Team, and we celebrate the achievements from the previous year, and we also look forward into the year that's coming. And part of our job in the development side of it is to look to see what skills do we need to hone our folks to make sure that we're going to have success in the coming school year. And so that's pretty much how we start our summer to launch us off into the next year. We have a program, a partnership with Results Coaching Global, and these ladies come in and they work with our administrators across the district to provide some professional development on how do we coach our people, how do we grow them and give them meaningful feedback. And that's been, I believe this is our 4th year that we've been working with them, and it's been a very well-received program and very popular. As you noticed in Transmittal, we just completed our 2nd round of Dana Center walkthrough training, and this has been it's been a fantastic training because this has really put our instructional administrators, not just our principals and our APs, but all of our instructional administration staff have gone through the training. And this has really given us some focused conversation around teaching and learning across the district. And then you see listed here, we also have 2 different groups that work with Into Learning. And Into Learning is an outside consultant group that we partner with, and we've been working with them for over 10 years. We send principals through their Principal Institute, and this is the 3rd year that we've been sending assistant principals through their AP Leadership Institute. And much like our Collabs, it's designed to grow and develop people through the lens of the specific job that they serve. The advantage that we've seen with working with Into Learning is they really push our campus leaders in their vision of what it is, what could you do, what is possible, what could school be about. And it's always a good advantage to bring in some of that outside perspective in their professional development. So if we look at what we're doing to develop our future leaders, we have 3 different programs that we have started. The Aspiring Administrator Institute is exactly what it sounds like. It is designed for people that would like to be an administrator. It's an application program, and this is the 2nd year of it. So anyone can apply, and if they are admitted into the program for the year, then they'll go through a series of meetings throughout the school year. And the focus of this is to really us to get to know them, and them get to know and understand what it is to be an administrator in College Station ISD. And we put them through the paces, and we teach them the different ins and outs of the work that we've been doing, and really grow and develop them where they are. Last year, we had our Aspiring Principal Institute, and through the same concept, but this one's really geared toward just assistant principals to prepare them for the principalship. But since we made the decision to have the Assistant Principal Collaborative this year, we decided not to have the AP Institute because that's kind of the same type of work. So we really wanted to focus in on working with just our assistant principals each month as we pull them together. And then the last group that you see here is the Teacher Leadership Academy. And this is geared toward classroom teachers. This year is the 7th year that we've had Teacher Leadership Academy, and we've had just over 290 teachers go through the program. It's very popular. And because we've been able to really develop these programs that are geared toward preparing people for specific positions, I've been able to take TLA and really hone it in on what is it to be an effective teacher, leader, department head, grade level leader, because most of the teachers that come in there will tell you they don't want to be an administrator, right? They're the ones that they haven't lost their brains yet. Like they know, like this is where it is. It's in the classroom, right? And so we really want to help them because we believe in collaborative leadership in CSISD. We believe in growing leadership across our campus, but we need to equip our staff with the tools to be effective leaders. And so that's what we do through TLA. So I covered the work that we're doing with our current administrators and the work that we have started doing with our future administrators. And so now I want to kind of draw the connection to the work that we're doing this year with the Holdsworth Center. So as you know, we are one of 14 districts that are a part of the Holdsworth Leadership Collaborative. And so you can see these districts listed here, and we're in very good company. It's a very intelligent group of people. And the Holdsworth Center, they started this leadership collaborative because they strongly believe in the importance of having a bench of leaders that are ready to come into your system. This is one of the things that they do. The Holdsworth Center is backed by HEB, and they believe that one of the ways to really support a district is to help them prepare for their future. And so they're doing this through building this leadership pipeline, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. And the reason that they really focus in on this is because they understand that principles really matter. The Wallace Foundation, they've been doing research on the impact of principals for the past 20 years. And in February of this year, they released a report on what impact do principals have. And the one position in the building that has the greatest impact on student achievement is the classroom teacher. But the second position is the campus principal. And so the Holdsworth Center understands why it's important to invest in growing the leaders of the campus. And with that in mind, they created their program and they based it around these three beliefs. They believe that new levels of leadership require major shifts of thinking and working. They believe that individuals need ample experiential preparation to make those shifts successfully as they change positions from the classroom up to the principalship. And they believe that the organization, rather than the individual, is responsible to being prepared for that. And so it shifts it, because most of us that are campus administrators now or district administrators, it was on us. We might have been mentored by a really good mentor, but ultimately it was on us. Very few school districts really take the onus of growing their people, and that's what they're really challenging us to do. So in our first session, they really taught us about the leadership pipeline and helped us wrap our brain around that. And this model that you see here is pretty indicative of what you're going to see in most school districts across the state of Texas. You have teachers and teacher leaders, assistant principals and principals. That's the typical flow, okay? And we do a lot to try to build and grow our people in those gray segments in the job that they're in. But what they're really challenging us to do is to pay attention to that transition. What are we doing to get them ready for that next level job? How are we helping support them? And so as we were sitting in the first round of sessions, we started to realize, well, we have a lot of things in place as a district. We have the Teacher Leadership Academy. We've started our Aspiring Admin Institute, and we're really focusing in on how we're developing our APs and our principals. And we feel like that's probably one of the reasons why they asked us to be a part of this program, was because they were able to see what we have in place. And we just need that little extra support from what they have to offer us. Our next session is going to be over, our next session was over. We just had it a few weeks back, was over defining leadership in CSISD. And so the Holdsworth organization, they have what they call the Holdsworth House, and you can see here that everything is built on the foundation of the district culture. And Holdsworth, they make it clear, like, we can't really help your culture. That's up to you guys. You got to take care of that. But what we're going to come in is we're going to help you really understand what leadership is, and that begins with a clear definition. And so that's where we are currently in our work. Our session that we had at the end of October was in this, and they gave us a charge to complete, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. But as we were thinking about this, we realized and we recognized, like, we just went through strategic design, and we're not doing that. No, we want to bring this in. We want to fold these things together. And as we started thinking about this, what came to mind for me was, whenever I look at inspire and motivate others, if I'm trying to grow somebody, if I'm trying to develop somebody, what does that mean? How do I teach them to inspire somebody? How do I teach someone to motivate somebody? Well, part of defining leadership is going to give us a list of things to start to work through to give us those tangibles, so that we can teach people how to do those things more specifically. And so we want to take the work that was created in our strategic design and apply that into the learning from the Holdsworth Center and just really grow more of what we've already created. And we started that work last week, actually. Part of our homework from October to December, which is in our first week of December is our next session, was we were charged with creating a task force to create this leadership definition. So we put our heads together and came up with a list of 32 people, and it's a spectrum. We have a couple of people in the room that have less than 3 years of experience in College Station ISD, and of course we have Miss Hester, who has more than 3 years of experience in College Station ISD, right? So we have the gamut of years in CSISD, but we have assistant principals, we have teachers, we have librarians, we have counselors, we have students, we have a spectrum of folks that we brought together to say, let's really talk about what leadership is, okay? And we were also cognizant of the work we did, and we have 14 of those 32 members were a part of the strategic design process, because we want to make sure we're infusing that work into this work. We're not leaving it behind. And so as you can see here, these are just some artifacts of some of the work that we did. And our biggest charge of our time together was for us to develop these leadership competencies. And our homework is now to take these competencies back to our Holdsworth session that we have in December. And that's kind of the process that we go through. We have assembled the task force. We give them things to do. They give us ideas. They give us feedback. And then as a steering group, and the steering group is myself, Tiffany Parkerson, Molly Perry, and Mike Martindale. We take that information and then we go back to Holdsworth with it and we work with them and we refine it and we get ready for the next meeting. And the timeline set up by Holdsworth has us doing this a couple of more times. And then whenever we come back in April, we will have this leadership definition to share out with the group. And whatever we do next with that, we're not really 100% sure. We'll get there. And that kind of brings us to the session we have coming up the first week of December. And it's all around the identification pillar of the Holdsworth House. And so you can see this here. This, again, is built upon their foundation. And I'm going to use my context clues of this is who we're identifying to put into our pipeline. But I don't really know much more than that right now because we haven't had the session and I haven't done my homework because I procrastinated until Thanksgiving week. I figured I'd get it done next week before we go to the session. But I'm definitely excited about the work that we're doing. And really just to recap what we're doing with leadership development over the last year and a half or so is that we know the single best way to impact our organization is to focus on developing our people, especially our leaders. We know we're going to have turnover, whether we want it or not. And we know that we have to equip our people in the chair they're in to do the job we're asking them to do. But we also know that we have to prepare them for that next transition because all of us one day will go on to something else and we want the great work that we've started to continue on. So with that, that concludes my report and I will take any comments or questions that anyone may have.
Thank you. I mean, I agree. It is such an important piece of what needs to happen with our personnel and our staff is to continue to develop the people we have. And I hope that they recognize the benefit for themselves individually, but obviously also for the district. Because I don't know how to nicely say this. This seems like a lot of things that you're doing, which is fantastic because I certainly recognize the benefit of it. Do we ever feel like our principals or our leadership feel like that's like too much? Or do you feel like they're really appreciating this development that they're being offered? Because I hope so. They're here. We could know. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand.
I can tell you what they'll say.
Thank you.
But let me, if I may.
Well,
Sure,
just
absolutely.
Obviously, these are some of the busiest people in our district, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, I guess maybe the way to say it is to say thank you to them for taking the time to do this for our district, because, yeah, it is a lot of time and effort.
So, and I think it's one of Jeff's first slides. You mentioned success team.
Right.
So success team used to be once a month. We came together for 3 hours, everybody. We talked about or thought we'd do a little professional development for a little while. We tried to squeeze it in, but ultimately every time the nuts and bolts of stuff that had to be announced and addressed, the management piece of things would always take over. So you would leave those meetings, and I can speak of those meetings as principal, as in other various roles, with stuff to do. That's typically what you walked out of there with, was stuff you had to do. And there was no specific learning or feel of investment or growth from a perspective, from the individual perspective. We've pulled that piece out. We actually, I don't know, a byproduct of learning how to do things online because of COVID or whatever, we have pulled the management, the nuts and bolts piece out, and we do that an hour. Actually, we have a Zoom call tomorrow from 1:30 to 2:30. It's an hour, and I'd invite you to ask the principals or success team. They last an hour, and we shut it down because that's a commitment that we have to them. But they don't have to leave campus, and that's just stuff. The Collabs, which really are a byproduct of splitting the success team out, are strictly professional development and growth opportunities. Opportunities for our principals to visit with each other, collaborate, share ideas, a whole, what you, from a professional standpoint, yearn for more of. The opportunity to speak with your colleagues and share ideas and you feel invested in and grow. That is what Success Team looks like now, because that's our effort. So that's not more time. Actually, I think we're using our time better. A lot of the work with Holdsworth is filtered through the collaborative team of Jeff, Tiffany, and Molly, and is integrated into those collab sessions, so to speak. So I don't know, because of Holdsworth and those things, that we're giving principals more to do. I think it's just becoming a part of what we do, if that makes sense. Because what we will not do is, and they can all attest that they have heard me say this, what we are is our strategic plan. That's what we are. And any work that we embark upon will support that, or else we're not embarking upon that. So it is a lot, but it's an investment in our people. I don't think we're giving them more work with this opportunity. I think we're being more intentional with our work with this opportunity.
I love that. Thank you. Yes, obviously, I would think people are willing to put the time in when it is meaningful. And so.
And that's exactly what they would have all
They
told
would have
you.
said, yeah.
So I will actually say that I very distinctly remember a conversation that I had with a principal a couple years ago. And that was actually something that they brought up, was that this was desired, that they wished that they had more professional development for administrative leaders. That, you know, we were doing a fantastic job with our teachers, but there was just a gap with assistant principals and principals. So when I saw this coming through transmittal, I was so excited, because I was like, oh my goodness, I never said anything. Maybe I should have, but I never said anything to anyone. But I love this. The principal, the principal and assistant principal collabs, that's what you're calling them?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? I think it's fantastic. Professional development for these guys, because they need it too. So I was happy to hear this and see this.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Well then, that takes us to M1. The board will meet in executive session to discuss qualifications of new executive board nominees. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to the personal matters closed meeting exception to the Texas Open Meetings Act as set forth in section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. So we will move to executive session, and we will return. We are back in open session. So N1, consideration, discussion, and possible action regarding the reorganization of board officers. So do we have a motion?
I move that Jeff Horak be elected as president, Josh Ben as vice president, and Thomas Hall as secretary.
Do we have any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. And we are adjourned.